This is Daniel McNerney's final submission for SE456. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. When you first launch up the game, it takes you to the menu screen. There is no attract mode. There's no little fancy animations on the screen. Also, two-player mode is not implemented, so we're not going to see any second player score. When you fire, it starts up the game. You can see we've got our grid of aliens. They're moving. They're launching different varieties of bombs. When you get hit by a bomb, it changes your state to destroyed for a bit and also stops the or decrements the lives. If you take your lives all the way to 0, there are no second level conditions and there is no real lose condition when you take your second. When either happens, you either destroy all the aliens in the grid or you run out of lives. It fires off a debug assert. That's a little reminder of where to put the code to trigger these events happening. As you're playing the game, as you shoot aliens, sounds play. The aliens will speed up as I kill them. Aliens are with various different values of points determined by their type. And we can see they're speeding up a little bit. Bombs launch at random at random intervals. Q, you can trigger the grid on and off. You can blast through your own shield, and we can see the bombs chipping away from the shields as well. You may have noticed I still have some pretty severe tunneling problems. Continuing on down, the UFO is not implemented, the two-player mode is not implemented, the attract mode is not implemented. The score is implemented, and whenever your score hits increments of 1500, it goes up, or it grants you an extra life. You are only able to launch one missile at a time, and the state machine is protected against you having launched a missile and dying while the missile is still in the air. It will not push you back to the ready state. As far as collisions go, missile versus shield, missile versus alien, missile hits tops of screen, missile hits alien bomb, alien grid versus each wall. The player icon doesn't collide with the left and right walls. Instead, it's just hard-coded with maximums because I figure that's cheaper for a known screen resolution, although it would be important to implement collisions on that for variable screen resolution. Alien bombs will hit the player, alien bombs will hit the floor, and alien bombs will hit the shield. However, you'll notice there are no splat images implemented, nor are there sound effects on death. Animation movement is in synchronization with movement. It's progressively faster as the number of aliens goes down. Music tempo and marching is faster as aliens go down. Mention the things that I haven't done on there. The bombs drop with at least 3 different patterns, and the bombs drop from random columns and can drop. It's indiscriminate about which column that it picks. It just grabs them at random. There's 4 shields on the screen. They impede missiles or bombs from traveling through the shield. Multiple hits can create holes in the shield. And there are sounds. We've pretty much just got marching and missile firing going on in here. So taking a look at our code a little bit, we're starting to work on a game manager. This is what launches up now, and so when the game is called, it calls game manager initialize and grabs the time to pass along, and it calls game manager load content. And game manager load content is going to do a lot of our initialization steps. It's going to grab all of our managers, and it's going to load up a lot of our resources that are going to exist throughout whatever other state our game goes into. And one of my goals is to try to get as many things into the game manager's initialize as possible and make sure that it's being recycled. So we can see we're adding on lots of sprites. We're getting some of our fonts for the initial screen setup. And then the game manager switches states and goes over to its main menu state where it's asked to. And in its main menu state, it'll be called on to update on that state and draw on that state. So it uses the state pattern that's also used on the ship. And mostly in the main menu, it's just polling for the, it presents some information and then just polls to see when the fire button is pressed and then loads into the next state. When its load is received, it calls unload content, which processes things up the delayed object manager and then removes everything off of the remaining timer manager, game object manager, collision pair manager, and sprite manager. So that's pretty much everything that's updated and drawn. However, anything that's kind of in our data managers, our resource managers, will still be accessible, and that's something that we can still use without having to call more news. And that's pretty much it. The design patterns are what features are in and are not in are denoted on the submission report, but some design patterns are noted on the submission report. I've used each one except for the memento pattern. There's a lot of features missing from the final game. I'm hoping it's a project that I can continue to work on in my free time. And that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for your time.